She froze when the sound of footsteps echoed down the hall. The air thickened, shadows stretched long, and a frying pan gleamed in Ada's hand. "Get away from my son!" Emma shouted, heart pounding. But Ada only smiled coldly. "You don't belong here anymore." Emma's world shattered in that moment. His son, his trust, his life, all threatened by the woman he loved. And that's where her story truly began. Before we dive deeper, please, if you're listening to this right now, I want to prove my stepmom wrong. She said, "I can't even reach 1,000 subscribers. Help me show her that stories like this matter." Subscribe to Folktales with Jossy, and let's keep breathing life into tales that refuse to die. Now, let's continue. She didn't hear the front door open. It was nearly midday when Emma Okafor came home early from a meeting, a rare surprise in a life usually packed with business deals and boardrooms. The mansion, usually so still, held a strange tension that made his skin crawl. As he rounded the corner into the living room, he saw her Ada Nanquo, his fiancée, standing over his son, Chinadu. In her hand, a frying pan glinted sharply in the sunlight. "Put that down," Emma's voice cracked with disbelief and fear. Ada turned slowly, her eyes cold and unreadable. "You don't belong here anymore, Emma." The weight of those words pressed down on him like a storm cloud. His heart hammered in his chest as he realized that the woman he trusted was planning something far darker than he ever imagined. A mother threatening her own child? It was impossible to reconcile with the woman he thought he knew. "What would you do if you walked in on something like this?" Emma whispered to himself, heart racing. The silence in the room was broken by the faint footsteps of a maid, who paused in the doorway, eyes wide with fear but knowing she had to stay quiet. Emma's mind spun how much of his life was a lie, and what terrible things was Ada hiding. That day marked the beginning of a journey he never wanted to take, a journey through betrayal, secrets, and a fight for his son's safety. Ada didn't stop with threats. She humiliated Emma in front of the staff, her venomous words slicing through the air like knives. The mansion, once a sanctuary, became a battlefield of whispered accusations and broken trust. Emma's world crumbled further when a whispered secret revealed Ada's connection to Tundare, a man with a shady past and a criminal record. But the betrayal ran deeper than Emma could fathom. Money was vanishing from their joint account, disappearing into shadows where Ada and her accomplices moved unseen. Determined to uncover the truth, Emma hired Owena, a private investigator known for digging up what others wished remained buried. The investigation cracked open a chilling plot. Ada was planning to kidnap Chinadu, his own son, for ransom. The mastermind was not alone. Emma's trusted assistant, Goy, was feeding Ada confidential information about Emma's schedule and finances, sealing their treacherous partnership. Emma sat late into the night, watching grainy camera footage where Ada confessed to the plan, her voice cold and unrepentant. His anger mixed with heartbreak as the weight of betrayal settled heavily on his chest. Have you ever trusted someone so deeply, only to have your world ripped apart? He wondered aloud. With the help of his lawyer, Chioma, his head of security, Kunnel, and Commissioner Admi, Emma prepared to expose Ada and her co-conspirators, ready to fight for his son's safety and his own peace of mind. The day of reckoning came fast. Police sirens wailed through the mansion gates as officers moved swiftly to arrest Ada and Tundare. Emma stood tall, chest tight with a mixture of relief and pain, watching the woman who once held his heart handcuffed and led away. His son, Chinidu, safe in his arms, was the only light in the storm. But justice was just the beginning. The investigation spotlight shifted to Goey, Emma's assistant, who betrayed him by feeding Ada critical information. The trial was swift and public. Ada, Tundare, and Goy were found guilty, sentenced to prison for their crimes. Emma's name was cleared, but the scars ran deep. In the weeks that followed, Emma refused to let his pain consume him. Instead, he transformed it into purpose. He began speaking out for men betrayed and manipulated, creating a network called The Stand, a community where men shared stories, supported each other, and fought back against abuse. His book, The Wounded Lion, became a beacon for those struggling in silence. Despite threats from powerful men who felt threatened by his message, Emma stood firm, advocating for family safety and justice. Partnering with government leaders, he helped launch the Family Shield Initiative, a program dedicated to protecting families from manipulation and abuse. Sometimes, the greatest strength comes from standing when you want to fall, Emma reflected. Late at night, Emma often found himself alone in his study. Chinidu, asleep nearby. He'd look at the framed photo on his desk, the little boy who had become his world and his reason to fight. The pain of betrayal still lingered, but hope burned brighter. Through every trial, every tear, Emma had learned a vital truth. Trust your instincts, protect what matters, and never let fear silence your voice. He knew his story wasn't just his own, it was for every father, every parent who had felt powerless against deception and cruelty. And through that knowledge, he found peace. If you're listening to this, Emma would say in his speeches, remember, strength isn't about never breaking, it's about rising every time you fall. His journey from heartbreak to heroism became a beacon for others, proof that even in the darkest moments, courage can light the way forward. If this story touched you, hit that subscribe button for more emotional tales from Folktales with Jossy. And even if it didn't, come on, subscribe anyway, we'll win you over next time. Drop a comment, like the video, and let's keep the stories alive. Thanks for watching.